Dana White just cleared up the speculation on the cancelled fight for the UFC Whtie House card, confirming it was never Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria that fell through. In a recent interview, White made it clear Ilia wasn't originally supposed to be on the card at all, so any talk of Islam versus Ilia being the lost fight was off base. Dana also revealed Islam is currently dealing with a hand injury with no firm return timeline yet, keeping the welterweight champ sidelined and adding uncertainty to his first title defense since moving up. On the Justin Gaethje front, Justin said he was told on Thursday he would not be fighting at the Whtie House event. Then, one day later on Friday, the UFC called back and said he might actually be on the card after all. Since White ruled out Jones, Islam, and Ilia as the cancelled fight, fans are heavily pointing to Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland as the most likely casualty. Khamzat has been inactive since winning the middleweight title, and Strickland has repeatedly called him out after his TKO win over Anthony Hernandez, making it a natural fit for the patriotic card.
It's the Whtie House card. There's a lot of reporting out of Spain today saying that it was going to be Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, and that fight fell apart on Friday. Well, Justin Gaethje also said he was told Thursday he wasn't on the card, and then on Friday he was.
That is true.
So what happened with Islam, I guess? Because you know how fans are, a lot of them.
That's not true, I said.
Sure. So
it was never Islam versus
Ilia.
Topuria, yeah.
So anyone who thinks Islam ducked this fight or anything like that, it's all incorrect.
Don't worry about what fights are being made. We announce which ones are made and which ones will be happening. I told you there were some weird circumstances. The reason that fight fell out, and it wasn't up on stage with Mick Hunter and Sean, it was that power slap that the fight fell apart that night. And then all the boys went back to the office and literally were there till 9 in the morning. And that's how Gaethje ended up on the card. And Topuria wasn't originally supposed to be on the card either.
Israel Adesanya is backing Alex Pereira to beat Ciryl Gane for the interim heavyweight belt at the UFC Whtie House event. Izzy said he hopes Alex wins, acknowledging that Gane can dance around and use his movement, but he believes Alex's power will catch him and knock him out. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall said he wants the winner of Pereira and Gane once he's medically cleared from his long-term eye injuries. Tom remains the heavyweight champion but has been sidelined since the no contest against Gane in October 2025, and his return timeline is still uncertain. Eddie Hearn, who recently signed Aspinall to his Matchroom talent agency for commercial representation, revealed that when they first approached Tom, he was shocked anyone had interest in him. Eddie said Aspinall was a little broken mentally at the time, almost surprised by the attention despite being the champion. Eddie encouraged him to get his mojo back, telling him to walk it like he talks it as the heavyweight champ. He noticed a big difference in Aspinall's demeanor in just 1 week. Chest up, chin high, and carrying himself with pride again.
Look, Dana wasn't really coming out in support of Tom Aspinall after everything that happened. If you watch that incident back, particularly in slow-mo, it's fucking absolutely brutal. And Tom's had 3 operations on his eyes. 3. And I just feel he's been just a little bit sort of chastised to the point where it's like the narrative spun is, oh, well, he quit and he shouldn't have carried on. The guy literally had his eyeballs scratched out in a fight. Watch it back. And this guy is, by the way, he has no quit in him. He's a fucking monster. Tough bastard. And I think when I met Tom Aspinall, I actually met a guy that was a little bit broken mentally. Like he was almost shocked that we had an interest in him. It's like, well, even after everything that's happened, I'm like, mate, get your mojo up. You're the UFC heavyweight champ.
Oscar Willis from The Mech Life just dropped massive news on Submission Radio about Francis Ngannou's MMA return. After Ngannou's departure from the PFL, fans have speculated about a possible UFC comeback, but Willis confirmed that's not happening. He said Francis's next MMA fight will be the co-main event of a Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey card, under Most Valuable Promotions, backed by high-profile investors, or a new venture. Oscar couldn't reveal the opponent due to restrictions, but he shut down big names like Jailton Almeida as possibilities and warned that fans will be very disappointed when the opponent is announced. He also addressed the John Jones situation, saying the UFC has no intention of cutting Jones's contract just to risk him facing Ngannou in another organization. Instead, they'll keep holding onto his deal to prevent that crossover dream fight from happening elsewhere, effectively blocking a Jones versus Francis matchup. This update closes the door on a UFC return for Ngannou while opening speculation about his opponent on the Carano-Rousey card. Let's roll the clip of Oscar Willis breaking it down on Submission Radio.
I also understand the UFC stance as well. Like, I'm not fucking letting Francis, who they really love, by the way, I'm not letting Francis get a John. I'm not letting Netflix get John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. That's because, they would pay John the fucking crazy money that he wants to get that fight, right? So as the UFC, I get it. It's just a sad state of affairs that, like, this is the way the sport runs. And I just feel for John. I wonder if, like, maybe there's, and look, who knows? I'll ask Dana about it tonight, actually, at Zuffa Boxing. Maybe there's a way, like, you know, they let Masvidal box Nate. You know, they can give you exceptions and stuff. I just don't think they ever will for John. Here's some news. Francis is the co-main to Ron DeGina. I'm not saying who he's fighting, but he's on that. Like, you guys are gonna fucking hate it. You're gonna hate it.
That was going to be my follow-up question. Do you guys think that, I'll go with you first, Mike, do you think we see Francis back in the UFC, but now he's on this Ronda fight, huh?
No, he's never coming back to the UFC.
Sean O'Malley, one of the fighters on the UFC Whtie House card, just said Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev should be the main event. In a recent interview, Sean called Topuria one of the greatest of all time, pointing to his 3 straight knockouts over Hall of Famers and the potential for Justin Gaethje next. He said, "It's definitely possible Ilia beats Islam." O'Malley believes the matchup would deliver massive star power and legacy implications, especially with Topuria's finishing run and Makhachev's pound-for-pound status. While reacting to Charles Oliveira's dominant wrestling-heavy win over Max Holloway for the BMF title, O'Malley couldn't stop thinking about Ilia and how brutally he handled both guys. Sean's upcoming fight will be against Ayman Zahabi. O'Malley, the former bantamweight champion and one of the UFC's biggest stars, is coming off a unanimous decision win over Song Yadong at UFC 324, where he rebounded strongly after his loss to Merab Dvalishvili in 2025.
Ilia is one of the greatest of all time. I think he's going to go down as, he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, knocked out Max Holloway, knocked out Charles Oliveira, back to back to back, and knocked out 3 Hall of Famers in a row.
And do you think he would beat Islam Makhachev?
It's definitely possible. Those guys, number 1 and number 2 pound for pound in the world. I think that's the fight we need to see next. It sucks because Islam's probably not going to come back down to 155. Ilia going up to 170 doesn't make. I mean, he's not a huge guy. He's definitely, he could be walking around 185, 190. He's pretty thick. So I think that's the fight that I'd like to see as like the Whtie House main event. Max's fucking boxing so sick. Oh, they're right back to the takedown. Charles in on the. He looks so fucking strong. It's crazy Ilia knocked both these guys out cold. It's crazy. Imagine he knocks out Gaethje too. 4 KOs in a row. Volk, Max, Charles, Gaethje. 4 Hall of Famers.
That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.